All right, let's move to Friday night, where we have two interesting college football games. We've got a very solid battle here, non-conference AAC versus ACC matchup. Central Florida and Louisville. We've got UCF 7.5 point road favorites. Actually, you know what? We'll do, since it's in order here, we'll do Maryland, Illinois first. That's next up on the marquee here. Maryland, Illinois. Maryland 8-point road favorites, 59.5 the total here in this game. Big Ten matchup here, and we're going to start seeing more of these. You know, we saw it last year, these Friday night standalone Big Ten conference games early in the year, and we're seeing another one here, Maryland and Illinois. Illinois defense got ripped last week by Brennan Armstrong and the Virginia Cavaliers. I mean, we were still on the air doing the Saturday show, Conor, me, Big Ragu, and DJ Big Boss when that game started, and I was seeing it in the background. Virginia's just reeling off touchdown after touchdown. Not a good sign for the Illinois defense in that game, and it's not going to get any easier for them because the strength of Maryland, by far, it's their offense. You know, little Tua, as we like to call him here, Talia Tagovailoa. He's been solid here. I like the way he played a lot last year. Running this offense for the Maryland Terrapins. And look, they beat West Virginia, a solid Mountaineers team in their opener, 30-24, winning outright as home underdogs. They were plus 171 total yards. It was a very, very good game for that offense. And what I liked about that game for Maryland is the balance. You know, 164 rushing yards in that game on 44 carries. You know, very, very solid in terms of being able to run the football. They get, you know, that's a pretty solid. You're talking about, you know, over 4 yards per carry for Maryland against, you know, West Virginia team that's been solid on defense, you know, for the last couple of years. And of course, Talia through the air, he had 332 passing yards against West Virginia in that game. So lots to like about this Maryland offense here. And on the flip side, Illinois defense is been shredded the last couple of weeks. I don't know what else there is to say. I mean, UTSA and a very good offense, though, and a solid quarterback, and Frank Harris put up 37 points against Illinois. And then, of course, 42 hung on them by Virginia last week. So they've given up 79 points, an average of, you know, 39 points per game in their last 2 games. Not good right now. So my first thought here is this game going over the total. I would lean that way. I'll like it even more if Brandon Peters is back. Not that I'm a big, you know, not that I hate Arthur Sitkowski at quarterback for Illinois, but he is what he is, man. He's a fucking ham and egger quarterback. That's the best way I can put it. You know, he's just a guy that's going to manage the game. He's going to dink and dunk all over the place. Hopefully they can run the football. And when you look at Maryland, you know, their run defense was shockingly good against West Virginia. I couldn't believe it because Maryland's been gashed on the run last year, and they held West Virginia to 48 rushing yards on the game. But just one game against a really good FBS team. This is going to be only their second because they had a walkover against Howard on the weekend, 62-0. So we just have that one game against West Virginia where they shut down the run. And the worry for me here with Illinois is if they can't run the football, are they going to make plays offensively with Sitkowski in the passing game? I don't know if he's that kind of quarterback or if he's good enough to do that because you look at the offense in his starts, you know, after Brandon Peters got hurt and left the Nebraska opener. He did play reasonably well against UTSA, but a lot of the points were late, you know, when UTSA was playing prevent defense. And then, of course, just the 14 points against Virginia last week. But we'll see if Brandon Peters comes back. They thought he could come back last week. They decided we're going to play it safe, keep him out another week. I think he might be back this week, and he's, I think, still an upgrade at quarterback from Sitkowski. If he plays, they're going to have more of a chance to throw the football down the field because I still think the Maryland secondary is weak. So my initial thoughts are if Peters comes back, maybe a lean to Illinois. Certainly I would like the over in this game if Brandon Peters plays. If he doesn't play, I'd get a little bit more concerned about backing Illinois and probably a little bit more concerned about betting the over as well. Connor Mack, what are your thoughts on this Big Ten Friday Night Lights matchup, Maryland-Illinois?
Yeah, this should be a good one. I'll start with the total. I lean over 2, especially if Peters is back. I haven't been impressed by Maryland's defense last year. I mean, they looked okay against West Virginia, like you talked about their run defense, but I still didn't get up. And Illinois, you just got gashed early. They just got off the bus, weren't there, just got, you know, we're down 21-0 or whatever it was early to Virginia. This is where I like Illinois, though. Peters has got to come back for me, and I want to see this go up a little more. If this maybe hits 10, I'll be interested in Illinois. Can they win the line of scrimmage? That's why they beat Nebraska, especially early. They just ran it. They had huge holes. Can they do that against Maryland? That'll be the key, because they have to run it with Peters in or not. I mean, he's definitely better at quarterback, throwing it for sure, but they're a run team here, and the defense can hang around. I think Tua will be able to score on them. That's why I lean over, but we're almost at 60 already. So this is where I want Illinois, though. I never want to be laying points with them, especially with a defense like that. But a home team catching, maybe 10 if I can get there, I'll look that way, and Peters is back, and I'll lean over just a tad bit.
Yeah, I mean, they lost outright as favorites at home to UTSA, but let's not forget the home underdog spot. The one time they were a home dog like they are here in this game was the win against Nebraska, 30-22 in their first game. So it feels to me like there's some value on Illinois here, home underdog. Like, I know Maryland shut down the run against West Virginia, and that's the concern here, because if Illinois can't run the football, they're probably not winning, and they may not cover in this game. But if they can run a bit, and I don't know what to make of Maryland's run defense yet, because it was shit last year. Their run defense was terrible. But it was great against West Virginia, but it's just one game. You have one game of data, one display of good run defense from Maryland. Is that enough to all of a sudden say, wow, they're a good run defense now all of a sudden? I don't know about that. Grant, what do you think of this one?
Conor and I on last week's show, we talked a lot about overreactions, and both in the NFL and college football. And this is a spot where you could easily, I almost get tricked by an overreaction. Because what'd you say, 48 yards rushing against a West Virginia team? I mean, that's good, man. That's
excellent run defense for Maryland in that game.
Yeah, I don't care who you're playing. That's very impressive. And this Tua kid, I mean, he can make plays, or not Tua, Tagovailoa, I should say.
Little Tua, yeah. Talia Tagovailoa, yeah.
Little Tua, he can make plays. And the reality is, for me, one, I look at this game and I go, I don't want to get tricked by this Maryland defense based on years past and based on one game. They played 2 games, but they won 60-62 rip the last home game last week. Now, being a college player, you win 62-0 and you had a good week 1. I don't know, where's the leadership on this team? Where's the coaching? It may have been a loose week at practice. You guys are kind of leaning that over if Peters starts. I like everything that's leaning that way based on the Maryland side. An ass kicking last week, a great week 1 performance. Now you're coming to an Illinois team that hasn't had a good start to the season in a lot of ways. I like the over if Peters is in. I'm going to keep it simple. If Peters is playing, I like the over. Conor made a good point on the trenches as well. The trenches is huge. Old school game in the trenches. Who can win that? I like the over, man. If Peters is in, I'm going over.
Yeah, and it's, of course, questionable. So they'll say later in the week is when Brett Bielema is expected to know more about Brandon Peters being back. But they said the fact that he was
moving up too, right? I could see this line maybe moving up a little.
Yeah, I mean, it's already moved up from 7.5 to 8. So there's already been some Maryland money, as road favorites of more than a touchdown here. And that's the thing. Maryland, I think people remember Maryland playing so well against West Virginia, and now back-to-back stinkers for Illinois, losing to West Virginia and then losing home to UTSA. And that's why you got to point to that. There's definitely the value side is Illinois. It's a question of, are they going to have Peters back? Are they going to be able to run the football? Or was Maryland's run defense that was so good against West Virginia's an anomaly? Or, because last year they couldn't stop the run. Was that an anomaly and they struggle again here? Or is that a sign of maybe this team being much better up front, blowing up the line of scrimmage, not giving running backs an opportunity to run the football as effectively? So that's the great debate. But right now, leaning Illinois, definitely leaning stronger personally on the over going into this game, especially if Peters plays.